If you are learning to use Docker, I highly recommend you do not use a desktop application. What you see here is Docker desktop, and this is the UI, the GUI. So what I'm saying is do not use the GUI, use the command line. You have to learn how to use the command line, because in the real world, you're not going to use the GUI. Most of the Docker stuff you're going to do, most of the Docker stuff you're going to deal with is through scripts. You have deployment pipelines, you have Jenkins CI/CD or GitLab CI/CD or some kind of CI/CD. All the Docker stuff is going to be in a script. You're going to work with deployment scripts. In your automation, you're going to have Docker related commands in a script. It can be a Python script. It can be a shell script. So the commands, the command line is the CLI, is what you're going to be doing when you're working with Docker in the real world. So when you're learning Docker, you might as well get familiar with those. It's really important to get familiar with the command themselves, not just the GUI when you get to click around, okay? Because the commands will give you errors that you'll be really familiar with, and you're actually going to put commands in the terminal. So the UI I'm talking about is this. This is on a Mac, and this is on Windows. It's an awesome GUI. I love the GUI, but at the beginning, I think, yeah, you can use it a little bit to be familiar with how things work, but definitely get used to the terminal, the command line. So what the GUI does is it will give you a list of containers. This had a bunch of containers that are running, list of images that are available, and you can actually start a container from here. You can delete an image, you can delete a container, but all of those things, you just open a terminal, and if you want to get a list of containers, you do Docker PS. You need to know that. If you want to get a list of images, you do Docker images. So there's a lot of commands that you're going to learn. Well, it's a small one. I don't want to intimidate you. It's just a small set of commands that we're going to use all the time. But in the real world, you're going to work in Linux environments, you're going to work in remote environments. So you have to learn the commands, and you cannot just rely on the graphical user interface, the GUI, to learn Docker. So that's my advice, that's my personal feeling, and I hope you take that seriously and learn the command line. When you learn how to use Docker, you learn to use the command line, okay? My name is Armas Kunfu. I'm a senior software engineer in test. I focus on QA automation and testing, and Docker is a big part of that because as testers, we work with CI/CD pipelines, and it is really important to know how Docker works. So right now, I'm creating content focused around Docker, just teaching beginners how to use this tool.